You ever sit in class? Problem is super simple and your brain just refuses to wake up? Like everyone else gets it in 2 seconds and you're still loading like a weak Wi-Fi signal. Yeah, been there, but here's the crazy part, the students who look naturally smart, they're not actually smarter. Yeah, they just train their brain to think faster. Today, I'll show you 6 simple mind tricks they use. And the best part? You can copy every single one of them. Stick with me till the end. Because the last one is the real game changer, top students do something weird. They don't try to understand a full lecture all at once. They break it down into tiny mental snapshots. Now, here's how it works. After every concept, they pause for literally 2 seconds and ask themselves, what's the one-line version of what I just learned? That tiny moment forces your brain to compress information, and compressed info means faster. Recall later. Again, try this in your next class. You'll feel your mind stop drifting and start clicking. Okay, mini cliffhanger. Because the next trick fixes the biggest reason your brain feels slow. Think about it. You wouldn't start a gym workout without warming up, but we jump into studying cold and then wonder why our brain feels stiff. Toppers don't do that. Before they study, they do a 60-second warm-up. Open the chapter, glance at headings, flip a few pages, scan a summary. You're basically telling your brain, hey, this is what we're working on. It wakes up your mind instantly, and your thinking speed goes from sluggish to sharp. Quick pause. If you've been feeling distracted recently, this next trick will hit you hard. Most students try to fight distractions. Toppers remove them before the fight even starts. Okay, there's one move they use. They set a 10-minute test timer, not to study, just to sit with the material. Because once your brain crosses those first 10 minutes, your focus locks in almost automatically. It's like a mental reset. You stop doom scrolling, your mind quiets down. Thinking becomes smoother and quicker. Try this whenever your brain feels messy. Sounds silly, but it works ridiculously well. Here's the trick. After finishing a topic, you explain it out loud, like as if you're teaching a 10-year-old. Why? Because this forces your brain to simplify complicated ideas. And when your brain learns to simplify, it also learns to think faster. If you can explain something simply, you've mastered it beyond the surface level. Also, talking out loud keeps you awake, especially on those nights when you're half asleep at your desk. Got mini cliffhanger. But what if your brain still feels slow even after studying smart? Your brain is fast, but it's not designed to hold everything at once. Toppers don't keep thoughts in their head. They dump them on paper when they're stuck on a concept. They write it out, draw arrows, make small diagrams, sketch random shapes until it makes sense. Once the problem is outside your head, your brain has room to think freely. Can't. This trick alone can turn a confused student into someone who solves problems in seconds. And now, the last trick. The one most people ignore. Thinking fast is not about pushing harder. It's about recovering better. Toppers follow a simple rule. Every 45 to 50 minutes of intense work, they take a 5-minute micro break. Not scrolling, not watching reels, just breathing, stretching, charging their brain back up, because a tired brain is slow. A rested brain is lightning. If your thinking feels slow most days, you're probably overworked, not dumb. This one habit fixes that. Look, your brain isn't stuck. It just needs better tools. Kank, use the one-line summaries, warm up your mind, do a distraction reset, teach the topic, think on paper, and let your brain recover. You don't have to use all 6 today. Okay, just pick one and try it tonight. You'll feel the difference faster than you think. Okay. If you want a part 2 or more mind hacks like this, hit subscribe and let's level up together.